Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to getting really informed on complex topics.
That's the goal.
And today we're tackling a really fascinating place, Nagaland, up in Northeast India. It's this amazing mix of ancient traditions and, well, modern life.
Absolutely. A place of real contrasts.
So our mission today is pretty clear. Dig into the sources we've got on Nagaland, pull out the key stuff, and figure out what makes it so unique. How does this place, famous for its warrior spirit, its deep tribal roots, also manage things like global music trends and a complex peace process?
It's a great question.
We want to give you that deeper understanding, especially why it earns that title, the land of festivals. It's quite something.
It really is.
Okay, so let's start with Nagaland's core identity. I mean, the sources paint this picture of incredible cultural vibrancy, stunning, kind of rugged landscapes, and this fierce spirit of independence.
Yeah, that fierce spirit is definitely a recurring theme. And that Land of Festivals name, it's not just tourism marketing. It genuinely reflects the cultural life there.
Right.
And you have to understand its geography to really get the context. Nagaland's location is, well, pretty strategic.
How so?
It borders Assam to the west, then Arunachal Pradesh and some parts of Assam up north, Manipur down south, and importantly, it shares an international border with Myanmar Burma to the east.
Ah, okay. So that border location really matters.
Hugely. It shapes its history, its politics, its identity.
And the landscape itself, you mentioned dramatic.
Yeah, overwhelmingly hilly, very mountainous terrain, and covered in forest. Something like 70% is dense forest, really green.
Wow.
Plus, the climate is generally pleasant all year round, and it boasts the highest peak in the region, Mount Saramati. It's over 3,800 meters.
Impressive. But the real heart of Nagaland, based on everything we've read, seems to be its people.
Definitely. You're talking about a population around 2 million, but the diversity within that number is, well, astounding.
The sources mention 16-plus major tribes, names like Ayo, Angami, Sumi, Lotha, Konyak.
And that's just scratching the surface. The key thing is each tribe isn't just slightly different. They have their own distinct languages, customs, traditional clothes, even their own ways of governing themselves.
So wait, distinct languages for each tribe. How does communication even work day to day?
That's a really important point. English is the official language, and it's widely used, especially in education and government.
Okay.
But for everyday interaction between tribes, they mostly use Nagamese, the kind of Creole language, sort of a mix that's evolved as the common tongue.
Interesting adaptation.
It is. And speaking of identity markers, religion is a big one here. Nagaland is overwhelmingly Christian.
Yeah, the percentage is really high, isn't it? Over 85%.
That's right, mostly Baptist. It's actually one of the highest concentrations of Christians anywhere in India, a major part of its modern identity.
And visually, Naga culture is just so striking. The tribal dances, the warrior traditions you hear about, and that incredible headgear.
Oh, absolutely. The headgear is iconic. Made from feathers, boar tusks, intricate beadwork. It's not just decoration. It's full of meaning and status.
Symbols of their history and achievements.
Exactly. And a lot of that history isn't written down in books. It's carried in oral traditions. Folk tales, songs, stories passed down. That's how they maintain that connection to their heritage.
Which brings us to the festivals, especially the big one, the Hornbill Festival.
Ah, yes, the Hornbill.
Held every December near Kohima at this place called Kasama Heritage Village.
That's the one. And it's famous for a reason. It's not just a festival. It's designed as a grand showcase for all the Naga tribes together.
So everyone comes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You get to see the music, the dances, the crafts, taste the food from all these different cultures all in one spot. It's vibrant, colorful.
Seems incredible.
It is. But it's also, I think, more than just a tourist attraction. For Nagaland, with its diverse groups and that history of separate identities, bringing everyone together like this is actually a really important act of, well, building a shared Naga identity today.
A kind of cultural cohesion project.
Sort of, yeah. Using culture to bridge divides. It's quite powerful when you think about it that way.
Makes sense. Now, this rich culture didn't just appear. It's tied to a pretty complex history. Nagaland actually became a separate state relatively recently, right? 1963.
Yes, it was carved out of Assam in 1963. But that step was part of a much longer and often difficult story involving Naga nationalism.
Right. The sources talk about a long-running insurgency, demands for independence, or greater autonomy.
Exactly. It's a very sensitive history rooted in that fierce desire for self-determination we talked about. It's led to conflict over many decades.
But things are different now.
Well, there's an ongoing peace process. Ceasefires are largely holding, and there are continuous talks between the Indian government and various Naga political groups. It's complicated, still evolving, but definitely aiming for a resolution.
That's crucial context. And importantly, for anyone listening who might want to visit, the sources suggest that despite this history, Nagaland is generally safe for tourists these days, especially around festival times.
Yes, that's the general consensus now. Tourists are welcomed, particularly those interested in the culture and the festivals. The situation on the ground is much calmer than it was, say, 20 or 30 years ago.
Good to know. And in terms of modern centers?
You've got Kohima, the state capital. Historically significant, too. Site of that major World War II battle.
The Battle of Kohima, right.
Exactly. And then there's Dimapur. That's the largest city, the main commercial hub. It's also where the state's only airport and railway station are located. So it's the main gateway.
Okay, got it. What about the economy? What drives it?
It's still largely based on agriculture. A lot of the population relies on farming, particularly jhum cultivation.
Jhum, that's the shifting cultivation method.
Yes, exactly. Clearing a patch of forest, farming it, then moving on to allow it to regenerate. Rice, maize, millet are key crops, plus handicrafts, small industries.
Are things changing, though? Any new directions?
There's definitely growing interest in areas like ecotourism, tapping into those amazing landscapes. And organic farming is gaining traction, too. Plus, traditional crafts like weaving and bamboo work remain important.
But it sounds like there are challenges, too.
Oh, absolutely. Connectivity is a big one. Just the one airport in Dimapur, and road travel through those hills could be slow and difficult.
Right.
Then there are issues like unemployment, especially among younger people, which leads to some migration out of the state. And developing infrastructure consistently across such tough terrain is always a major task.
And that socio-political situation you mentioned, the ongoing talks, that must add another layer of complexity.
It does. It creates a certain level of, well, sensitivity and uncertainty that affects investment and long-term planning. It's part of the reality there.
Okay, let's lighten things up with some of those surprising facts the sources highlighted. These really caught my eye.
Yeah, there are some fascinating nuggets.
First off, that Battle of Kohima in 1944. It wasn't just a battle, it was apparently a major turning point in the Burma campaign of WWII. They called it the Stalingrad of the East.
That's right. A brutal, pivotal fight that helped stop the Japanese advance into India. Puts Nagaland on the world historical map in a way you might not expect.
Definitely. Then there's the Konyak tribe. Famous, or perhaps infamous, for being former headhunters.
Yes, a well-known part of their past identity.
What's really wild is that apparently many Konyak elders still have the facial tattoos they earned during those times, in battle.
It's true. Seeing those tattoos is like looking at living history. A direct link to a past warrior culture that's almost unimaginable today.
Wow. Just wow. And
Right.
then completely flipping the script.
Right.
Despite all this deep tradition and warrior past, Nagaland has a buzzing rock and hip-hop scene.
Yeah, it's quite something, isn't it? Really vibrant youth culture expressing itself through modern music genres. It perfectly shows that paradox we started with, holding on to ancient roots while fully engaging with the contemporary world.
That blend is just fascinating. So wrapping this up, what should you, our listener, take away from this deep dive into Nagaland?
Well, I think it's clear it's a place of incredible depth. You've got these ancient traditions living alongside modern aspirations. You have the vibrant festivals, but also that complex history and the ongoing pursuit of peace.
Not simple.
Not at all. And it really highlights why you need to look beyond just headlines or stereotypes to understand a place like this. Its resilience, its spirit. It's really something.
So maybe here's something to chew on after listening. How does a place like Nagaland manage to hold so tightly to its unique cultural identity, its warrior past, yet at the same time embrace global music, modern life, and actively work towards peace?
Yeah, what does that negotiation between tradition and modernity tell us about culture itself? How adaptable can it be?
A lot to think about there. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of Nagaland.